Hello, and welcome back to Women for Wealth. So it's a little bit of a different format today. So the reason why I have my computer here in front of me is because I am thinking about writing a book. So let me know in the comments below if you think it's a good idea and if I should add anything, if there's anything you're curious about that I can research and include. The idea is to write a book, self-publish, post it on Amazon, put it in the description of the show notes somewhere. And I think I charge $5 on Amazon for my books. They're all small booklets, let me say. Let me grab them. So I've actually self-published 2 books that are on Amazon right now. They're $5 a piece. They're paperback. They're pretty thin. I want them thin because today, I don't know if you're like me, but your attention span is very short. So I want it to be a quick read, something that, you can highlight, take notes, and, grab 1, 2, 3 pertinent pieces of information and then move on. Because I don't know if you're like me, I don't have hours and hours and hours to read like I used to. I used to read every night before I went to bed. Now I'm so exhausted, I just fall asleep. So that's something to, keep in mind if you want to check out my book. So the books I currently have that are on Amazon are The Art of Revenge and Confidence and Creativity, A Middle-Aged Woman's Guide to Success and Fulfillment. The third book I'm looking to write and self-publish and put on Amazon is Financial Freedom After 50, A Women's Guide to Retirement Success. So basically, the framework I'm thinking about, understanding financial freedom. What does financial freedom mean for a woman, especially if you are after 50? I'm not 50 yet, I'm 48, but I think that 50 is a big number birthday for a lot of women. So I think it's applicable. What is financial freedom? The importance of planning for retirement. You got to plan. You got to put a plan together, and then you got to execute that plan. You got to walk through it and work it. Common myths about retirement. There's a lot of myths about retirement. You have to prepare and plan. You have to be ready for retirement. You can't just stumble into it and everything be okay. Retirement planning basics. I want to get into, the basics of retirement planning. You got to set goals. You got to assess your current financial situation, as well as you got to understand when to retire and what your life's going to look like after you retire. Retirement income strategies. Where are your sources of income going to be when you retire? Up to that point, your income was tied to your salary more than likely, or, if you were hourly, your job, but there was something that you did for work that resulted in payment. So you either had a salary or an hourly income, and you got a paycheck every week or every other week or bi-weekly or monthly. But when you retire, you're not going to have that anymore. So where are you going to get money from? Creating a sustainable withdrawal plan. Sustainable withdrawal plan. It's not just where are you going to get that money from. When are you going to take it out? How much are you going to take it out? How long will it sustain you? Lifespans are increasing. Well, I'd heard that lifespans had started reducing in America now because of how unclean our food is and how we don't exercise enough, etc., and so forth, on and on. But by and large, lifespans are increasing. And as a female, unfortunately, it's very sad to think you're probably going to outlive your husband. So how long are you going to live? You don't know. So plan on longer than you anticipate. If you're going to live to be in your 90s, how are you going to make sure your money's not going to run out? Those type of things. Think about that. I'm looking at researching and putting some of this into a book. Again, if there's something else that you think I ought to add, please let me know. Basic finance like balancing income and expenses are probably going to be important. Tax efficient retirement withdrawals. Understanding the tax implications. Now, I have said before, and I'll say again on this channel, I am not a tax expert. I am not a CPA. I am not a financial advisor. I am an electrical engineer. I am someone who had to figure this out for myself. And I'm like, you know what? If I can dig in and do the self-learning and I can learn this and then I can take it and I can make it easily digestible for someone else and save them the amount of time and effort I took to learn this stuff, and maybe even share some of my pitfalls, where I did something wrong and, hey, I did this, I could have done better, here's how I could have done better. My goal for this channel is how can I help women get wealthy? That's why it's Women for Wealth, right? I want more women to obtain wealth. You got to understand taxes. It's just part of it. Again, I am not a tax expert, but I can research, I can learn, and then I can share that information in an easily digestible format with you. And then you can take that information away and implement it in your life and then go and share. That's the important thing. We need to help each other. And so if you learn something that works for you, share it with your friends and families. Share it with your girlfriends. The Thirsty Thursday group around here, a lot of them are retired. They're a different generation. So most of those women have husbands who had good paying jobs, and the husbands did all the planning. The husbands have all control of the purse strings. And so they don't really understand my generation of women where we're coming in. We're like, no, we're the breadwinners. I'm the breadwinner. I have been for a long time in my family, and I don't mind that role. But it's my job to make sure the money that I bring in, and by the way, my husband does work and always has, so he does contribute financially to the family. I'm not meaning that he, sits on the couch and eats Cheetos in his underwear, because he definitely does not. He works very hard. He does a great job, and I'm very grateful and appreciative to have him in my life because he's an important asset and partner for me. But I need to make sure that the money that we have in our account, because we are joined, we have joint accounts, and I need to make sure that for myself, there's enough money in retirement for him as well as me, as well as having a legacy for our kids, because we have 4 kids. I'd like to be able to set up the kids, hopefully grandkids, with a little bit of a financial safety net. I'm not going to leave anybody millions and millions and millions. I'm not Carnegie. I can't do that. But my goal is to leave a financial safety net for my next generation, my kids, my great grandkids. Hopefully, it'll go that far. We'll see. Social Security. What is it? What can you expect? How can you maximize it? Timing your benefits. You want to make sure that you include health care and long-term care planning, understanding Medicaid and Medicare. There's a lot. Ladies, there's so much out there that we need to learn and understand. So my goal in this book is for me to dig in, me to take the time, me to learn it, and not just to learn it for myself, but to learn it for you so that I can share it with you. Because I want every woman out there to be wealthy. If you're like me and you own your own business or you're self-employed somehow, maybe you're a content creator and you actually get monetized. I create content. I'm not monetized. I make nothing from this. I do this because it's a passion. Maybe, hopefully someday if I get enough subscribers, then I can monetize this and bring in a little bit of income from it. That would be wonderful. Irregular income. How do you manage that? If this channel did get monetized, praise the Lord if it did, but how am I going to manage that irregular income coming in? Planning for taxes and benefits and then, I mentioned legacy. You want to leave a legacy for your family, for your kids and your grandkids, and hopefully your great grandkids. How are you going to do estate planning? How are you going to make sure your wealth is transferred to them and it just doesn't get sucked up in taxes and then all this hard work you've gone through to build wealth just evaporates? You got to plan for that because you want to make sure that the wealth is transferred to the next generation. So included in that's probably going to be wills and trust. What are those? How do you set them up? What are some of the important questions you need to ask? I'll be honest, as I've done initial just brief research into this stuff, there are a lot of risk in retirement. And so you need to understand what those risks are, but you also need to understand how to mitigate them. Who to have on your team. You want the A team. You want the best of the best. Again, I am not a tax advisor. I'm not a CPA. I'm not a financial advisor. You need to have those on your team. You need to have the experts there. My goal is just to give you education to help you know what questions to ask. I don't have all the answers. I'm still learning. I'm still going and figuring this thing out. And so if I can share what I'm learning and I can help you to ask the right questions, that is my goal. But again, put in the comments if there's something that you're interested in or you want to learn and you don't have enough information. Put in the comments. I'll do the research. I'll look into it. I'll ask, the questions. and I'll put it in a future video and hopefully make it where, again, my goal is so it's easily digestible. I want to put the time and effort in so that you have less time and effort into digging into this stuff because I totally understand. A lot of people just they don't want to dig into this stuff. It's not fun. We used to joke. I'm an electrical engineer. If you ever want to put somebody to sleep, you hand them an engineering book. And finance stuff is kind of the same way. It's kind of dry, it's kind of boring. It's not the most fun thing to read. So, again, let me know what you want me to research. I'll dig in, I'll do the research, and I will report back to you and I'll share what I learn. And with that, I do want to ask if there are any online tools or anything that I can put together that could help benefit you, let me know. Again, I do this as a passion project. I'm not monetized. I'm not making any money off of it. It'd be great if I could. Praise the Lord if I did. But in the meantime, if there's anything that I can do that would be beneficial, let me know. Put it in the comments and I will dig in and I will figure it out. If you need a budget planning spreadsheet, ugh, as an engineer, I know spreadsheets, so I can help you out with some spreadsheets if you want that. I know there are a lot of budgeting software and apps on the market. I think Dave Ramsey has one that's like $5. I think it's called Smart Dollar, I think is the name of his app. And I think it's $5 a month. I don't know. I used to give that as a benefit to my employees. Dave had a special for 1 year where I think it was $2 an employee that I paid for all my employees to have access to Smart Dollar. At the end of the year, I asked everybody, hey, are you using Smart Dollar? Did you pay off debt? If so, how much? Are you saving? If so, how much? What's the benefit? I didn't get back any real convincing, yeah. And even though it's like $2 a month the first year, the next year, if I had renewed that, it was going up. I think it went to $12 a month. But anyway, I digress. The point is, there's a lot of stuff out there. There's a little bit of cost associated with it. If there's something that you would like as a tool that maybe, hey, I really like this, but I wish it also did that. Let me know in the comments. Maybe I can add that. Maybe I can do that for you. I don't know. But anyway, until next time, I wish you health and wealth.